What's up, guys? We are back. Today we got a quick video, and this one's called It's Fairly Easy. It's a post from the Neville sub. It stood out to me, so we are going to cover it. I'm going to give you guys my little breakdown here at the end, as per usual. So here we go. It's fairly easy. I wrote this note the other day, and I thought I would share. Everything I've ever manifested has come to me because I let go of the outcome. I have manifested 2 houses that were way out of my budget to be within my budget. And one house was on the exact street I had asked for years prior, which I had forgotten about. I've manifested countless smaller things and lots of money continuously over my life. Money just flows to me. This stuff is not that hard. I think content creators and marketers want it to seem hard to sell their products and courses. The key is letting go of the outcome because you already have it. The reality, where you have the thing, already exists. Your imagination is not imagination, it's just a preview of another reality. If you believe in that new reality, you have no choice but to realize it sooner or later in the here and now. Believing is just letting go of the idea that it's not real. There is no past, there is no future, there's nothing coming to you. You aren't attracting anything. You don't have to change your subconscious mind or raise your vibration. Just know that your imagination is real. We've been trained to think our imagination is pretend. It's not. It's like reading a brochure about an upcoming vacation you're taking. You don't think the brochure is fake with the fake pictures. It's a preview of the vacation and what to expect. You believe it. It's real. You'll be going on that trip soon, seeing the same things as the brochure. It's bought and paid for. It's a certainty. Treat your imagination the exact same way. The only thing standing in the way of that reality showing up is your belief it's not real. Whenever I have manifested anything big, I did it by letting go of the outcome, but by being certain of getting what I want. For me, the idea of this or better has always worked for me, and then letting go and relaxing, knowing God has my back. So, we got some comments in the thread. Your imagination is not imagination. It's just a preview of another reality. Wow, that gave me a whole new perspective. Going to be repeating that to myself now. So somebody else said, I love this as well. This insight came to me in a different way, but the point remains. Imagining is actually occurring regardless of the fact that we can't see it. It's so real, so to ascribe meaning to it, that it matters. Close your eyes and imagine a red apple. The fact that you can do that shouldn't gloss over your head. It's weirdly a cool ability, so you want better, imagine better, deliberately so. What a gift to preview another reality. For me, I was walking home from the grocery store and imagining what I'd have to do to get home, and that's when I realized it was a preview of what to come if I chose to go that path. Yeah. So imagination is real, and there's been studies and science on this. And just do a quick test with me right now. Imagine a lemon. In your mind's eye, just close your eyes and imagine a lemon. You see that lemon. You see the glossy lemon skin outside of the lemon. And, you can imagine just putting that lemon under the counter and taking a slice into the lemon. Imagine that. You feel the zest, the little spritz of the citrus coming off the lemon. You can smell it. Smell that citrusy smell, right? And now imagine picking up that half lemon and just taking a bite into the lemon, and all that flavor, all that sour juice that comes from the lemon juice that's so tart and it's so lemony. And, taking that bite and imagine your face scrunching up with the lemon juice. If you just imagine that, your mouth will begin to water a bit. And that is a testament to the fact that our imagination is real. Our imagination has the same effect that the physical experience does. And that is why imagining is so powerful. And that is why robotic affirming, scripting, all of these techniques are very powerful, because if you're continually envisioning and you will envision by way of redirecting that story that you're telling yourself. So let's say that we're using the vague robotic affirmation of everybody loves me, right? And I've used this example before when I've been on vacations. I use this, from time to time. The reason I have, genuinely speaking, such good interactions with people in the service industry, anywhere that I go, pretty much, whether I'm going to a restaurant or to get fast food or anybody, I get free things a lot of the time. People treat me with a lot of respect. People treat me, I think it has to do with the way I carry myself as well, the energy that I bring into the interaction. I'm genuinely interested in people. And when I'm in that sociable mood, I'll be like, hey, like, how's your day going? And like, genuinely asking, right? I'm genuinely asking, I'm present. And that just stands out like a firefly amongst all the other moths out here, all the other people out here that are just caught up in their head. They're walking around in a fog, in a cloud. And when you come into people and meet people like that, and you're actually curious about them and curious about their day, curious about what, how they're doing, that's going to, people, everyone's selfish, right? Everyone is selfish. That's just part of human nature. We're almost more interested in ourselves. So by being interested in people, that causes people to like you. And that's just a simple psychological thing. And when you do that, if you go in, you're telling this story to yourself. Yeah, everybody loves me. I'm just I'm just a likable person. I'm a lovable person. I put out positive energy everywhere I go. You might be saying that as a robotic affirmation, but also if you are walking around carrying that new story, you begin to have that positive expectation. And that may take the form of little bits of visualizations or little imaginative bursts of yeah, oh wow, like seeing people smiling at you. It's almost like you expect that now. So whether you're getting a coffee at Starbucks, the barista, whoever it is like, they're gonna be like, Alex, or whatever your name is, like excited to talk to you, like, what can I get for you, and wanting to put out positive energy because people are reflecting that positive energy that you're putting out, right? And again, this can be very valuable if you're going into social situations, just imagining people responding very positively to you. The brain doesn't know the difference. So if you've been in a situation where you're nervous about meeting new people, or you are overly concerned with the way that you are showing up and people judging you and stuff, having a little visualization where you just imagine people loving you, loving your energy, responding to you positively. You imagine people smiling at you rather than looking at you judgmentally, or looking at you, giving you a weird expression or sort of weird reaction. That's going to work because the brain can't tell the difference. And a lot of athletes, I had this program I got one time that was created by this guy named Matt Belair, who trained top performing athletes. And what he will instruct them to do is visualize that trick. He trained snowboarders. I believe he worked with Shaun White, who is an Olympic medal winner. And just imagining sticking the trick, sticking the landing, and imagining how that feels, imagining them doing it. And Michael Phelps, I brought this up before too, the coach that he works with, he will visualize first person, third person. And it works because when you sometimes, again, I've said this before, but success begets success. And if you haven't seen success in life, in your real life, you haven't done that 540 or whatever the trick is that you're trying to do, or you haven't had that experience of people reacting to you extremely positively. If you see it in the third person or in first person point of view, in your imagination, in your mind's eye, you do a mental rehearsal of it. This can work with a golf stroke. This can work with tennis. This can work with sometimes people that aren't even trained in the classical way of the classical grip holding the golf club. They simply imagine. There was this thing in psychocybernetics, the Morrison keys, which this guy Morrison was instructing these golfers on how to, get their golf score down. And he was simply imagining the ball going and landing where they wanted it to land. And this is it works. There's studies I've mentioned before about the free throws, the basketball players doing the free throws, and the ones that practice the mental rehearsal had even better free throws that they were shooting, but even better scores that they were getting after practicing mentally than the ones that didn't that practice physically. So it's incredibly powerful. It's incredibly valid. I will probably create a video here that is like a comprehensive visualization video, kind of like my robotic affirming video, but one that's geared towards visualization, imaginative acts, to kind of give a comprehensive viewpoint and breakdown of the way that I see the best way to use visualization, the best practice to use it, and how to achieve results using it. But I'm also in the process of writing up like my course. I'm building out my course right now, and I'm going to be going over that as well in the course, giving lots of techniques. I can create a YouTube video, but I'll be able to really, really break down every single different technique that I've learned over the years as far as best practices with visualizing, and all kinds of different techniques. I've accumulated techniques. There's NLP techniques. There's the techniques that I've learned from studying, how the way that athletes visualize. There's all kinds of stuff that is available that we can use at our disposal. Of course, SATs, of course, getting into that state of the wish, or state akin to sleep before we visualize. There's so many different things we can do to and overlaying visualization onto the 3D that we already are experiencing, right? So if we're in an interaction, or if we're in a car, but we want to imagine that we're in we got the car updated, or we got our new sound system in the car, whatever, you can overlay what it is that you're currently experiencing with your imaginal result that you're looking for as well. And those are just a few that come to mind off the top of my head. But I love the way that this, the example of looking at a vacation brochure, you're expecting it, you're not questioning it. And when you think about it, like the way they've broken it down, that it's a preview, or before I've said something that along the lines of, reality is just catching up to that vision that you hold in your mind. It just hasn't caught up yet. That vision you hold in your mind is real. It's just the time hasn't caught up yet. Then you really step into this, what they're saying here. And on one hand, it's not, this, all truths are about half truths, right? They're saying it's not that hard, and the thing is that it's all personal. It's all a personal journey. We're all individuals, and some of us might have very little to almost no resistance with certain areas in our lives. Some of us have an extremely easy time, let's say, getting good grades in school, right? Some of us may have an extremely easy time socially. We've just naturals at being social, right? And then we may have harder, more difficult times making money, like getting our business going. We may have a more difficult time with our health journey. We may be running into obstacles with that. And so it's like with every single person, the amount of resistance that we have in one area, we might have very little resistance in this other area. And so then maybe it really is easy to generate and sustain good results in that area. But it's about working through resistance. It's about finding where those limiting beliefs are, identifying them, replacing them with the positive new beliefs. And that's why I have that resource you guys can download below to begin that process. And download that, go through it and do it, and you will be able to identify. A lot of the time it comes down to self-worth things, that you're not good enough, you don't deserve it. And so that could get transferred onto relationships, for example, or that could get transferred onto the money thing, or the desirable career that you've always wanted, right? And so getting to the heart of that is going to be imperative on this process when you are running into a situation where there is more resistance. Because like I said, you might be just shredded six-pack abs walking around. Everybody else is like, dang, like how do you do that? How do you maintain like such a great physique? But those other things don't come naturally, right? So it's all about figuring out, where you're facing your resistance, what kind of distortions, generalizations, things that you're not seeing reality for what it is. That's all part of unpacking that. That's all part of unpacking that, those things that happened in the past that have caused us to tell this certain story, getting rid of that story, undoing that bit by bit. It's a process, it's a journey, and beginning to tell ourselves that more appropriate story that's more in line with the version of ourselves we want to become, that's more in line with the results that we want, that's more in line truly with what we can and what we should be striving for here, because we all have blind spots. I've mentioned this many times. I do, you do, every single one of us does. Even the most successful people on the planet have certain blind spots. But the more that we're able to see ourselves objectively, get rid of our emotional thinking, the more that we'll be able to then act in a way in which reality then reacts in the way that we want it to. Because now we're acting in a way, we're working with the universe. So we're working with reality, not against it, not condemning things, saying, oh, well, this is like, and playing that blame game. Because as soon as we start looking outside of ourselves, that's when we give our power away. And I've mentioned that before in very many different videos here, but it's about taking that responsibility, saying, look, I don't have control over everything that happens. There's certain things we don't have control over, right? And part of wisdom, being wise, is to evaluate that. We don't have control over the way that people respond to us all the time, but we have a control over the way that we are showing up, which then gives us, ironically, a little bit of control over the way that people respond. It doesn't give us control over them necessarily, but it gives us the ability to show up in the way that we want to. And then if you want to go ahead and say Neville, using Neville's language, everyone is you pushed out. I don't really like that term. I think that people really take that off and really take that like all the way to the bank with that. And it's just like really not, it's not a healthy approach to really be coming from the perspective that you are literally controlling every single thing that everyone does. It's just not, it's not healthy. It's kind of delusional to be thinking that way. And but again, what we do have control over is ourselves. And people, a lot of the time when interacting with us, will reflect to a large degree the way that we are interacting with them. The way that we feel about ourselves will generally, a lot of the time, be reflected in the way they treat us. So with that being said, it's not about taking on the blame or the guilt for how this person or that person acts, but it's about taking responsibility for how you act, because you are coexisting and co-creating reality with these other forces going on. And so you have that control over you. And whether somebody is acting in the way that you want or not, or the way that is acceptable to you or not, based off of the way that you've chosen to act and the standards that you have for yourself and the people that you keep around you, then that person, you can either find common ground with that person, or then they fall out of the picture. And that's generally what happens as we go throughout life, is that we realize, oh, well, me and this person, we can coexist. We can, meet each other here in this way or not. Because if they're a disrespectful person, if they're an awful person, if they're a bad person, if they are somebody who is malicious, somebody who is not putting good intention forward, not willing to look at themselves and how they're showing up, then it's oftentimes going to be a futile endeavor to continue to engage with people like that. You want to surround yourself with people that are growth-minded, people that can look at themselves in the mirror, can own up to their faults, their mistakes, and that are willing to put in work, because it's a two-way street. With that being said, guys, much love as always. Drop me with a like, hit me with a comment down below, and let me know what you thought about this, and hit me with a subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.